Hey, Facebook Live. I am headed to the office. You might be looking at the time and thinking, at 10 o'clock, you're just now heading to the office. Well, yeah, after quarantine, not after, during quarantine, I worked from home and realized I kind of like it. There's so much more I can get done when I'm uninterrupted. So I've kind of just stuck with working at home for the first little while. So that's been pretty great. And you might notice I'm in my coat, and it's like June 8th. It is cold. Literally, I was showing a cabin in Schofield yesterday. It snowed on us. It sleeted on us. Hey, Becky, thanks for watching. And this morning, as I looked out the window, it was snowing and it was sleeting, and that's pretty crazy. But welcome to Utah. That's what you sign up for in the Mountain West, right? So a few quick statistics, and then I'll answer the question of the day. This is the first of, I don't know, maybe a couple hundred questions. If you guys have questions, post them. I'd love to answer your questions about real estate, about the market, about marketing, about rentals, about renting, about problem tenants. Those are some of the funnest conversations. And sometime between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock every morning, I'm going to go live and answer a question. And hopefully this gains some momentum and we have some fun. But real quick, the stats, because I love stats. Anybody that's been watching my live videos knows I love to start with stats. I'm a stat nerd. It is what it is. And so there was 13 new listings the last 10 days. That's the biggest jump we've had in a long time. People are getting a little more comfortable. Some of the COVID scares wearing off a little. Probably need to still stay vigilant, but at least it's we're getting back to whatever normal is or is going to become or whatever, right? So 13 new listings, and solds continue to be strong, or not solds, under contracts rather, continue to be strong. And there was 14 properties put under contract in 10 days. Solds were a little bit weak, only 5 solds, but that's still really actually pretty good numbers. So the question is, and I get asked this every once in a while, can I see your real estate license? And I think that's the wrong question to ask, particularly, but I'm going to go ahead and answer that question, then tell you what the right question to ask is. So I do keep a copy of my real estate license. I'm digital now. I've got a photo of it on my phone, and if someone asks to see it to prove that I've actually stayed current with my licensing requirements, past the minimum requirements, it's good to provide it for them. Usually it takes me a minute or two of scrolling to find it, but I've got it, so we're good. But the problem with that question is that's the minimum requirements to sell a house. But then so that's kind of like the entry level of getting into real estate. You've got to be able to, you have to take, when I did, I think it was 90 hours. Now I think it's up to like 110 hours of coursework, and pass a state test with, I think, a 70%. What's up, Colby? Percentage. Not too high of a bar, right? Like that's pretty easy, and it means you have to follow the laws. But then there's this other layer on top of it, and that is the code of ethics. And that is something that you don't have to subscribe to. You don't have to become a member of the National Association of Realtors. You can just be a real estate licensee and sell and do all kinds of things that are illegal and very unethical and not good and harm a lot of people. So the question to be asking is not, can I see your license? The question is, are you a member of the National Association of Realtors, and do you subscribe to the code of ethics, and do you follow that? And if you wanted to really probe and dig, you could say, have you ever had a violation of the code of ethics? And that's always a fun question, because sometimes people squirm and twist and like, well, it's like, because you can still stay licensed even if you, hi Diana, have had a violation. Usually the point of sanctions that they place on someone that's violated the code of ethics is they unless it's just something really egregious, like if you steal someone's earnest money, or you flat out lie or commit a crime or are deceptive, you're probably going to lose your license, and you're going to lose your standing with the National Association of Realtors, right? And you should, because if you're doing any of those things, you probably shouldn't be handling people's largest financial decision. But in addition to that, so I'll be a little vulnerable here. I've been turned in, I think, 6 times. Yeah, 6 times, but that's over a 25-year career. And one time out of the 6, 3 of the 6 were dismissed immediately. 2 of them I had to respond. 1 of them I had to actually go to a hearing. It was a very fine line. Of course, that's what anybody has said, right? That's had something like that happen. But they felt like I should have done a better job communicating is what it boiled down to. I didn't do anything that was illegal. I communicated with the bank and not with the seller. The property was in a short sale, so I notified the bank of an offer, didn't notify the seller because I knew the bank wasn't going to take it. So shame on me, should have done better there. So I had to take a bunch of extra education, pay a fine that really hurt, and I'll tell you, I over communicate now. Anybody that's ever worked with me knows that. Sometimes they're like, you don't need to call me right now. I tell me when something matters. And so that's good. But anyways, back to the main question. Do you have a license? Great, have a license. But the more important thing is, do you subscribe to and follow the code of ethics? Have you ever had any violations? And if they don't want to discuss them, that's kind of scary, right? Because I'll tell you the truth, I just shared it with the world to hear. So that's the question to ask. And someone that's been in the business for 25 years in a small town and has a mostly good reputation. I have a few detractors, people that just, for whatever reason, do not care for me as an individual or whatever. But you can't stay in the business for 25 years in a small town. So I think that speaks volumes for the Metzger team that we've had this kind of longevity and that we have maintained 99% good reputation. And that's the question I've got for today. But if you guys have questions about the market, about real estate, about, heck, I'll answer your life questions. It may not be the best advice, but go ahead and post those questions. And as you're looking for an agent, interview a couple of agents. Ask them tough questions like, well, let me see your license. What is this code of ethics? Do you subscribe to it? And if they don't even know what it is, run. Because they should know what it is. Because you literally, when you get your license, you have to take, I think it's 6 mandatory classroom hours on the code of ethics. So if they don't know what it is, that's a problem. So they should know what it is, and they should actually be able to describe it at some level, like what is it? And so, you know, like some of the things are like do no harm. That's a pretty good thing. Handle money safely. It's a good thing. Fully disclose who you're representing. Good thing. Things like that. They should be able to give you a few points of it because there's like 16. I don't expect them to run down all of them. Although if you needed me to, I could. So there was a point in my career in my before middle age when I had most of it memorized because I've been on what's called the Professional Standards Committee. And that is the committee that hears complaints against realtors. So in order to do well on that committee, I felt like I needed to really know what the Code of Ethics said. And so I memorized it because that's what I do. But middle age has zapped a lot of that from me, but I still get the basic idea and the concept, just not the word for word verbatim ideas. Other things like truth in advertising, like you can't lie in your advertising. Now we can embellish. There's a difference between lying and embellishing. Sometimes I'll say this place has an awesome front porch because I think it's awesome. That doesn't mean you're going to think it's awesome. But anyways, thanks again for watching. Appreciate it. And you guys have a great week. And we will see you tomorrow between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock for question number 2. And if I wasn't driving, I would tell you what question number 2 is. But I don't feel like that's a good idea to try and pay attention to the road, the camera, and read. So tune in tomorrow for question number 2, and we're going to run this down the road as long as I can come up with questions, or you guys can come up with questions. And like our page, share our page. If you know someone looking to buy or sell, send them our way. We'd love some extra business right now. We're not incredibly slow, but we're slower than we'd like to be, so send them our way. Have a great day.